What is up, guys, and welcome back to Drop Clutch Garage. Today we got a bunch going on here. We're finally back on the 65 coupe. We're gonna finish installing the Holley Sniper EFI, which includes a bunch of wiring and plumbing. So basically what we got going on now is a basic layout of how the wires are going to be run. We have the power and ground coming to the battery area. The blue wire is going to go all the way to the back to the fuel pump. We have our oxygen sensor welded in and connected. I'm going to have to zip tie up the access and mount that somewhere solid. We have the fuel pump relays. Let's see if I can get them. Fuel pump relay right there. I'm going to mount that in the inner fender apron and then kind of follow the factory harness along the shock tower here to the starter relay and kind of blend it in as best I can so it looks OEM. Besides that, we have the connector for the LCD display, which has to go inside the cab. This is gonna go away. This is for the oil pressure gauge. I have a copper tube that I'm gonna replace that nylon with just for a little bit better longevity and a better look. So we'll get that plumbed up as well. We have a factory style sending unit that'll run the light on the dash. And then we also have an opening for a pressure gauge right at the top there. That will run a copper line too. We already have the coolant temperature sensor in place. It's like a GM style right there. I have it in the factory location. We have one more wire to hook to the negative side of the coil. And then we have a wire to run all the way back to the fuel pump to direct ground to the battery. And then it also comes with this almost bonus 10-pin connector here, which gives you some additional functions, different inputs and outputs that you can control through the LCD. Pretty cool option, but we don't need any of that. That's basically it, guys. Like I was saying before, it's pretty simple, super easy installation. Alrighty, guys, this is the factory taillight harness. It runs all the way from the front under dash all the way to the back. It also houses the wire for the fuel sending unit. I'm going to run the ground to the fuel pump and the positive from the relay of the fuel pump through this harness. And the condition of the wire is actually really great. The insulation is still great and supple. The only issue is the sheathing is pretty much trash. So I ordered some new sheathing to replace this. So we'll get the old junk all cut off. What's left of it has been painted over and most of it's just falling off. So I got some OEM style new sheathing that I'll be able to wrap all these wires with. Alrighty, guys, so the harness is complete. I have some excess coming out for that positive line for the fuel pump going to the relay and the negative going directly to the ground. I'll terminate that once I get it through the firewall so I know exactly how long I need it. Went ahead and wrapped electrical tape on any of the joints. You can see here, this is where it splits into two. Here as well. Just wrap the end so that way it wouldn't fray out. I also used a lighter to burn the ends of this wrapping so it wouldn't fray. Looks great. Let's go ahead and get it installed in the car. Guys, one thing I do have to mention in the trunk, this is where that tail harness comes into play here. It comes through the left side fender well, and then for the fuel sending unit and now fuel pump, it comes along here, and it's supposed to be a hole right here that it goes through. The hole is not here because I had to replace the tail extension panel and it didn't come with a hole. So I'm gonna have to drill a hole right through there, not a big deal. So I'll go ahead and run the harness through the car and then we'll get this hole drilled. Alrighty, guys, got the tail harness wired all the way through to the driver kick panel. I want to make sure and keep this harness module. So I'm going to add a plug right here just to go along how the factory had it. Again, this is going to be for our fuel pump negative direct to the battery and positive to the relay. And I got a painless little plug kit here. Alrighty guys, so we have that connection complete. Now we're gonna work on getting these punched through the firewall. Alrighty guys, so I was able to find space in the neutral safety switch harness that comes in through the firewall. In the grommet here, it's quite a large grommet, and this one goes to the display that's gonna be mounted inside the car for the Holley EFI. Alrighty guys, so I found the location I'm gonna use to drill to mount the relay for the fuel pump. So we're gonna mount both those on the inner side of the fender apron. There's not enough room on the inside to drill, so I'm gonna drill from the outside. And then I also got some starter relay bolts to use to secure them. So the mounting hardware will at least look factory, which is pretty cool. All right guys, went ahead and mounted the relay and that connector there. Looks like it's plenty enough space between that and the exhaust to not get too hot. And at that point, all we need to do is hook up our switch power, which is that pink wire, and then the yellow wire, which is our coil input, which will go to the negative side of the coil. Alrighty guys, I'm gonna have to extend out our yellow wire that's headed to our negative side of our coil. So I have a little extension wire here. I'm gonna send it out and I'm going to route it from here on the top side of the driver's side valve cover with the oil pressure sending unit wiring harness, and then come through to the coil where the ignition source is as well. So try to make it look clean and as factory as possible. Alrighty guys, I extended our yellow wire here, and I'm gonna route that wire along with this factory harness here atop the left side valve cover, and it goes over to the negative side of our coil. I'm gonna wrap it either with electrical tape like the factory style harness, or I'm just gonna get a piece of sheathing to put both harnesses in to clean it up and make it look factory. But for now, before it runs, I'm gonna leave it like that, so that way if I have any issues, it's easy to troubleshoot. So our last wire we have to connect is for our switch power, which is this pink wire. I'm gonna run it back inside the firewall here, and I'm gonna tap directly into the ignition switch. This isn't the power source for the Holley EFI. This is just to tell it that it is in run position. The power source for all the main components is going directly to the battery. Alrighty guys, so we're behind the dash right now. Here's our ignition switch. We're gonna tap into the green, or the red and green striped wire. See if I can get the focus a little better here. Yeah, so we're gonna tap into that. I'm gonna go ahead and strip some of the wire, solder the connection on there, and we'll fire up this Holley and see what happens. Alrighty guys, so all the wiring's complete. Not 100%, everything's routed. Nothing's necessarily tied down or wrapped or covered in sheathing yet. We're gonna turn the key and see if we got power to the Holley. Let's give it a whirl. There we go. Now that is super exciting guys, because that means we are so close to firing this thing up for the first time, which you'll see in our very next video here at Drop Clutch Garage. Alrighty guys, that's gonna be a wrap for today's video. As you can see, we got most of the Holley completely wired up. The only thing we have left to do with the wiring is once it's running, we're gonna go ahead and clean everything up. We'll get it routed properly, get it covered, get it protected. But the next video, we're gonna do our first startup. And with that, we're gonna include all the startup procedures for your first startup, so you guys can take a look at how that goes. And we'll put some life back into this classic. Guys, I also have some more content coming with a new project. If you follow my Instagram, Drop Clutch Garage, if you don't already, check it out. I do post more content on there, but it's gonna be a 1969 Mach 1. We got some very fun, exciting projects to go on that vehicle, which will be coming up in some more videos. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching these. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, like it, and share it with all your friends if you'd like, and I'll catch you next time.